Hey, what's up, Hacksplainers? Super excited to have you on board again. I just recently had a really nice chat with the one and only Vicky Lee, and in this episode, you're going to see what we talked about. It was about Bug Bounty, the security world, jobs, entire Infosec community, and much more. So make sure to check this out. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's video, and I'm super excited because I'm having a special guest with me, Vicky Lee. Vicky, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure actually to meet you. Super awesome. So, yeah, how are you? And maybe tell me a little bit about you.
I'm doing pretty well. And I am currently working as a developer evangelist at a security company called Shift Left. And prior to this, I was a freelance web developer and penetration tester. And I also do bug bounties and create security videos on the side. What about you, Pascal? What do you do and how long have you been doing it?
So I was studying computer security for 5 years, went on a massive trip to
Hmm.
Asia for 7 months, and
Nice.
then
Yeah.
came back and started working as a penetration tester. And right now I am a senior security engineer at a company called Dynatrace, and I'm basically running everything testing related. So our Bug Bunny program, our internal penetration tests, organizing the external ones, and a couple of other things. And you
Mhm.
mentioned it, Bug Bunny is obviously something that interests me as well, but to be
Mhm.
honest, I don't have too much time to hack on photo stuff after work. 40 hours
Mhm.
most of the time is enough for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the exact same situation actually. I realized that after I took a full-time job, I have much less time to hunt for bugs. But I still try because it's so fun.
You were saying before that you've been working as a freelancer before you started your current job, right?
Hmm.
How was that, and what brought you to become a freelancer? I've never done that personally, actually.
Hmm. So I've been a freelancer for about 5, 6 years now, and I started as a freelance web developer just to make some extra money in college. And then when I graduated from college, I was making a full-time income with freelancing. So I thought, this would be a great way to continue to build on my portfolio and my reputation in the infosec industry as well. So that's how I get started. And after I was a web developer for a while, right? And I've always loved building tools that other people uses. But as a developer, I've always known that security is very important, and I felt responsible for my users' data. But at the same time, I didn't feel equipped to secure my own applications. So I started bug bounties as a way to learn about security. And from there, I sort of just fell in love with security and eventually got into penetration testing and security content creation.
That's pretty cool. So you was it your first touch point with security, the whole Bug Bunny
Mhm.
world, or how did you get into that?
So my first introduction into InfoSec is the bug bounty world, actually.
How did you get to know about it? I mean, I guess not every developer knows about the whole Bug Bunny scene because it's still a little bit, I don't want to say
Uh-huh.
secret, but like secluded from everything else. Like, how did you get to know that?
Mhm. I have no idea. I don't even remember what happened, but I just remember one night I was sitting down, it was summer, and I was just sitting in my room, super bored, and I just started hunting for bugs. And within the first night, I got my first valid bug, and that was just
Really?
exhilarating. And I'm like, whoa, that's so cool.
Do you remember what it was?
My first bug. So I know my first bug that was valid and my first bug that was paid out was two different bugs. The first bug that was valid was a CSRF, but it was a duplicate. And my first paid bug was a business logic error that made I was able to use the business logic error to bypass the password change validation process in a big tech company.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was just amazing. Yeah.
That's so much more interesting than my first bug that I ever found. I was actually, I think it
What was
was
your first bug?
I was coming out of school, and background, I guess at this point was maybe a year old or two,
Mhm.
and I found this. Don't remember what website it was. It was just this sign up for a newsletter thingy at the bottom, and I basically tried to
Mhm.
enter email addresses from whoever, and I figured out that I could enter every
Mhm.
single email address in the world. So I reported, oh, this is an email flooding vulnerability, which is not really a thing, and it
Mhm.
didn't really have impact, right? Funny thing is, they still paid out about 200 US dollars back in the days for that. So I always
Nice. Thanks. That's really cool.
it is a ridiculous
So
bug, but
how did you get into the bug bounty world?
yeah. So I was studying computer security at university, and it must have been a professor. I don't remember who it was, but somebody brought it up, and the first company that I ever heard of in that sector was Background. And yeah, I just
Mhm.
signed up, saw all those programs, and the first thing is you see those big numbers, you see like $5,000 for a critical,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you just go nuts, right? So young me
Mhm.
sat down, tried a couple of things, and yeah, I just told you about my ridiculous bug that I handed in. But yeah, I went from there, and maybe even because of this bug bounty world, it became clear to me that I wanted to do pen testing as my main profession,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then got internship in penetration testing, and got hired later after my master's in penetration testing. So it all went from there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess sometimes you can start with a single bug that you find, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's so cool. Tell me about your internship in penetration testing.
So that was back in the days at Siemens in Munich, Germany. And what
Mhm.
we had to do coming out of my university, we had this mandatory internship in, I think, year three or something like that, where we had to do
Mhm.
6 months. And I applied for a job at Siemens. They had a pen test unit over there, red team unit. They took me, and it was the best thing ever, because I mean, I think at that point I didn't even know what a CSRF was. I was super
Mhm.
super beginner at this time, and they took me. I sat down next to an experienced hacker, and he taught me so much stuff. So that was amazing.
Mhm. Oh, that is really cool. I've actually never had like a internship or prior to my current job, a full-time job in Infosec. I've always worked in freelance. So how do you like working like full-time at your current location? What does your job entail and how do you like it?
I mean, it's awesome. You hack on stuff. You're getting paid for it with a monthly salary. So I guess the biggest
Mhm.
benefit over Bug
Uh-huh.
Bounty is that you get money no matter if you find a vulnerability this month or not.
Uh-huh.
But I guess a main differentiator for me, at least, is that if you are focusing on Bug Bounty, you get to touch so many tech stacks.
Mhm.
You hack on, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 different websites all at once, and they all run on different technologies. So you get to hack so many different things, and you constantly educate yourself. Being a
Mhm.
professional penetration tester at a single company, and I guess that is also a difference people have to understand. I am just working for my company, and I'm securing their assets. I'm not working at
Mhm.
like a consultant company that does penetration testing for others. So I'm only doing
Oh,
this.
okay.
So I'm only doing this internally, and our tech
Mhm.
stack isn't changing too much. So it's a little. I don't want to say boring, but you get to experience less technologies over, let's say, Bug Bounty.
Mhm. But you get to go a lot deeper in that tech stack and you learn a lot more about that tech stack, right?
100%, exactly that. And if
Mhm.
you, I don't know if you've been going through like a scoping session before in a penetration test with with an external consultant company, you don't really have a lot of time to go into all the details of the stuff you have to test. But looking at my daily job, when we sit down with our developer teams, we sometimes talk 2 hours about this tiny little feature, and we go into like every little detail that there possibly is to talk about. And that's pretty cool because you can just make sure that your product, your assets are secure on a way deeper level.
Wow, that is really cool. So, how much of your day job is penetration testing versus other duties?
I mean, it depends a little bit on the sprint. So we're working in 2 week-long sprints where you get to schedule all your tasks, right? But I guess over the course of a year, it's probably 50% penetration testing, and then there's also other stuff like helping our customers, helping our internal developer teams. So it's basically giving support, enable teams. Then there's a little bit of management, managing the people to it. And you also have like shared project with your teammates, which are not testing related. So there's a couple of different things to it. Or like I said before, managing our Bug Bounty program, where obviously the security researchers out there searching for the vulnerabilities and not me personally. So there's a lot of aspects to it, but it's quite fun.
That's really cool. What's like the most interesting submission you've got at your company for bug bounties?
Yeah, if I only was allowed to tell you that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
We're running a private program, and we're not making our findings public, so I cannot really tell you that. But trust me, every now and then there is something interesting coming in where you'd be like, geez, I wouldn't have thought about this in a million years.
Yeah. Nice. That's so cool. I'm so curious about the triager's perspective, by the way, because I've only ever been the bug hunter, and I want to see what's it like on the other side, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, those folks, I mean, you're paying for their services, right? And you expect them to triage all the findings first before they're getting handed over to you. But sometimes, to be honest, they're not having an easy life because the quality of submissions, to be honest, is sometimes a little low, and then they're struggling with triaging it, with reproducing the actual vulnerability. A lot of times there are false positives coming in, so it's a tough job, I guess, if you're a triager at whatever background, HackerOne, integrity, whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, but I also imagine that it could be a very interesting situation to be in because you're the first to see sort of all these submissions, and you get to like read all the research of top researchers in the field.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what I envy most about their job, right? It's insane. It's like a treasure chest of write-ups what they're sitting on. It's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, I would personally love to see what all like the top hunters are submitting to the big companies, you know, like the big names in the industry, for example, like Orange Tsai or Ben, and who else? There's a lot of cool researchers out there that I want to read about. And when you read these researchers' blogs, it's often long after the vulnerability has been mitigated, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of like looking back. I want to see it when it's happening, you know, how the security team is responding, and what kind of thing you can potentially do with a bug if you find it at that point, which that just sounds exhilarating as like a triager. I actually applied to be a triager about 2 years ago for HackerOne, but I didn't get in. So
too bad.
yeah. What could have been, yeah.
Well, maybe in the future, you never know.
Yeah, I think for now, I'm kind of over the idea of being a triager because I really like my current job function. But I could definitely see myself enjoying the work. So I'm currently working as a developer evangelist, right? And it's
yeah, you gotta tell me more about that. The term evangelist is just something I guess we don't have over here. What is an evangelist doing? Tell me more about that.
Right. it's sort of it's like this new job functionality that's emerging in tech companies. And it's like a communicator between a tech company and outside developers, right? My job is mainly to communicate with developers and learn what their struggles are and learn what will make their jobs easier and work with my colleagues to make our products make that happen and make sure that our products align with what developers need. And I also do a lot of security education and outreach in the form of blog posts and videos. So it's very much, I would say it's a developer communicator type of job.
Hmm. So you're basically enabling the devs at your company to
Hmm.
become better in what they do, and
Hmm.
you take that knowledge and also put it out to the public by writing blog posts and stuff like that.
Right. And I also want to let outside developers know the good work that our team is doing as well. So it's a two-way communication.
Okay, so it has, I guess not even, but it has like a big marketing aspect to it. Is that right?
Right. I would say it's a it is there is some marketing aspect to it, but I see my role more as communicating needs. I'm communicating the needs of developers back into my company, but I'm also communicating the need of better security and good security products to outside developers. And there is definitely a marketing aspect, but I want to be as honest and as true to the developer community as possible.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And then in your, I guess in your free time, you're doing those amazing videos where you hand troll all the
Right,
vulnerabilities and the stuff that you
right.
educate. I love that. I love the style, and I always loved the idea of handwriting something, or in the way
Hmm.
you did, basically digitally
Right,
doing that.
right.
Uh,
I think I got that inspiration from Live Overflow. I just really like the style of his videos, and I sort of just like, oh, let me start doing this as well. But then I realized that when you start doing it, the quality is so far away from Live Overflow because he's so much more experienced and he's so much better at editing and making videos than me. So yeah, I'm just trying to like emulate him in form of style actually. I'm doing a very bad job at it, I think, but
oh,
I
you're
still
not.
enjoy making them.
You're absolutely not doing a bad job, and I'm laughing hard over here because you know who my idol was when I started YouTube.
Who is your idol?
It was Life Overflow.
Yeah, I know, right? He's so cool. Yeah,
Those
just
it's funny. He always does that scribble thing where he, I don't know, puts
yeah.
red boxes around things and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. And I saw it and was like, I gotta use that as well. So in my very first
Yeah.
videos, actually, I have something similar. But then I thought like, I cannot be a blatant copy of Life Overflows. I gotta do something different. But yeah, no, he's
Yeah, I know,
amazing.
right? Just yeah, his videos look so professional yet casual at the same time. It's not like those like very glossy YouTube videos. It feels like very hackery, very developer-y, but still like very put together.
Exactly. And he has
Yeah.
this nice range of videos where he goes into super detail where you can't follow anymore. And
Hmm.
then he has those other ones which is more like a TV show that that you would watch at, I don't know, in the afternoon when
Hmm.
you want to come down, something like that. So that's cool, the range
Hmm.
he has, at least to me.
Hmm. When did you start making YouTube videos, by the way?
When? It was,
Hmm.
I guess, mainly actually prior to COVID. I was
Hmm.
telling myself that this is something that I always keep telling people, which is actually not good to scream out loud. But I'm a little bit of a lazy person, and I don't really want to. I don't really have this urge of educating myself after work. But as the security business is so fast paced, you
Hmm.
gotta constantly learn something new. And
Hmm.
what I found for myself was that if I'm teaching something in a video, you obviously have to prepare yourself. You don't want to put something into video which is just bullshit or something like that. So you
Mhm.
have to prepare yourself first and study first. And this helped me a
Yeah.
lot to find the motivation. So
Mhm.
this is actually where the idea was coming from on my end. And then COVID kicked in and gave me
Mhm.
this massive amount of time to record videos.
Yeah, I could totally relate to that. I think, especially during COVID times, the security online community definitely made me feel less lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait,
Which is
wait.
why I started like content creation in the first place. I remember when I first started Bug Bounties and learning about cybersecurity, I just felt like the journey was so lonely because you're just sitting in front of the computer, typing away all day, reading about blog posts all day. I wanted a way to like communicate with people and share my ideas.
Absolutely. Are you in a lot of communities or not too many?
What do you mean by communities?
I like Slack channels, Discords. Obviously, everybody is on Twitter. Are you in a lot of those groups and channels, or not too much?
I think I'm in a good amount. I'm in a I try to be in a wide variety of communities as well, like bug bounties, AppSec, penetration testing. They all have like their different circles that you can participate in, and I try to like get into each one of them to really get the whole view of InfoSec.
Exactly. I think it wasn't too many at the first point. I literally wanted to become
Uh
part
huh.
of every single group that I found, but
Uh
after a
huh.
while,
Yeah, I know.
I dropped out of a couple of them again because it was just too much. You could read all day long. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to have those
Yeah.
communities.
Yeah.
So I was having another question that is interesting to me. You're saying that you're working fully remotely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had this before. Is that how does that work out with like meeting all your colleagues? Do you have regular chats around the coffee sitting at home? How do you get to
Mm-hmm.
know each other? How's that working out? Because usually, I mean, you're at the office and you meet everybody there, right? But how's that working out if you're working remotely?
So I just started my current job about a month ago, and I remember at the first during the first 2 weeks of my work, actually, my boss just set up meetings for me with everyone. So we'd have like these one-on-one Zoom meetings with colleagues, and then after that, it's more of a just the collaboration based meetings. You meet up with the people that you collaborate with very often on online mostly, and also we do a lot of Slack.
Oh
We
yeah.
have a lot of Slack channels, and we just chat there usually.
Thank you so much, folks, for watching the first part of this video. For the second one, I want you to head over to Vicky's channel. It's youtube/c/VickyLeeDev. I will link that right here for you, so make sure to check out the second part as well.